Tonight, he faced the death penalty. Now, a judge has decided. Jared Loughner, who shot and severely wounded Congresswoman Gabby Giffords and killed 6 others, heard his fate today. John Blackstone was in the courtroom. They have no power, no heat, no gasoline. Then the ice and snow came. Mark Strassman on the long ordeal after Hurricane Sandy. Members of the Navy's SEAL Team 6 are disciplined for helping to produce a video game. David Martin has the story. And Seth Doan with folks picking up the pieces of their lives, one memory at a time.
This was the cookie press that I made the cookies at Christmas time.
This is the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley.
Good evening. In a Tucson, Arizona courtroom, former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords came face to face today with the man who tried to kill her, 24-year-old Jared Loughner. In January of last year, Loughner, mentally ill and armed with a semi-automatic pistol, tried to assassinate Giffords, raising his gun to her head and firing. Then he kept shooting, killing 6, wounding 13. Loughner pleaded guilty, and today a federal judge sentenced him to 7 life terms, 1 for each of the dead, plus 1 more for attempting to kill a member of Congress. John Blackstone was in the courtroom.
Loughner sat in the courtroom as one by one victims rose to speak. Congresswoman Gabby Giffords and her husband Mark Kelly stood side by side, staring straight at the man who tried to kill her. Loughner looked toward them as Kelly said, "Mr. Loughner, you may have put a bullet through her head, but you haven't put a dent in her spirit and her commitment to make the world a better place." Giffords did not speak, but stood fully upright, her paralyzed right arm in a sling. Kelly ended with this: "You have decades upon decades to contemplate what you did. But after today, after this moment, here and now, Gabby and I are done thinking about you." Pam Simon is one of Giffords' staffers who was wounded.
I could see in the way she stood very straight, standing with Mark Kelly. I could sense in the way she held her head, her curiosity, her great intellect, and also, I believe that it may have provided some closure for her. She is an amazing woman.
Loughner only spoke when he was asked by the judge if he waived his right to address the court. He replied, "That's true." Loughner's shooting rampage was in January of 2011 in the Tucson shopping mall where Giffords was holding a meeting with constituents. He's been diagnosed with schizophrenia and has spent the last year in a Missouri federal psychiatric ward where he's been treated with psychotropic drugs. The 6 people Loughner killed included a federal judge, a 9-year-old girl, and Betty Jean Offutt's mother, Phyllis Schneck. So you were looking into the eyes of the man who killed your mother?
I had to.
When Patricia Maish rose in court to speak, it was the first time she'd seen Loughner since the day of the shooting. Do you think he heard you?
I hope he did.
Gabby Giffords, she says, gave her the strength to speak.
She greeted me and she said I need to be strong because I was a little wet-eyed.
You were wet-eyed. Gabby Giffords told you to be strong.
Yes.
Loughner will now be sent back to the same federal prison where he's been getting psychiatric treatment. That treatment will continue, but Scott, the judge told Loughner he will never again set foot outside a prison.
John, thank you. Folks who got hit by Hurricane Sandy were digging out of a snowstorm today. Many are struggling with no electricity or heat. Sandy is blamed now for at least 123 deaths, and more than 767,000 people in 4 states are without power. As snow fell on Staten Island, Jason Auer was helping clean out a relative's wrecked house. And Mark Strassman is reporting for us from New Jersey tonight. Mark?
I want to show you something, Scott. All this is the aftermath of Sandy, a growing mountain of debris. That pile is construction materials, furniture, and appliances. Over there, what's left of Belmar's famed boardwalk. That pile splintered by Sandy, and that pile ground up for scrap. And town after town along the Jersey Shore has a pile of ruin just like this, with no place to go.
I've never seen this much material in our building before.
Dominic Maz's waste removal business has collected 7,500 tons of debris since Sandy hit.
We can't get it out to the out-of-state landfill, so there's a backup here, and it's backed up on the streets.
NASA can't get rid of it all because there aren't enough state-licensed trucks to haul it all away. Some debris mounds contain potential health hazards.
Oil, paint cans, there's refrigerators, there's toxic chemicals in there that get released into the air.
And those right now are sitting in towns exposed because there's no permit that allows them to be taken to a place like this.
Exactly.
For every 2 steps forward, this recovery from Sandy takes 1 step back. Mayor Michael Bloomberg announced new gasoline rationing for New York City drivers. We'll have to wait until the weekend for the last of the city's flooded tunnels to reopen. And the winds and snow from Wednesday's nor'easter killed power to another 200,000 customers, mostly in New Jersey.
And all of this, unfortunately, runs on electric.
Lynn Crofton's fiancé, Billy Reed, a stroke victim, needs this life-sustaining equipment, from his ventilator to his nebulizer. They've all had to run on generator power since Sandy hit.
Who would ever expect in the United States of America that you'd be without power and heat for 11 days?
Crofton gasses up the generator 3 times a day and waits for the power company.
Without this life-sustaining equipment,
We'd be in a hospital or a nursing home or sitting in an ER, and God only knows what he's going to catch there. I can't do that to another human being.
Croftley knows she's lucky that at least she has a roof over her head. Scott, other families have their entire homes in these mounds of ruin.
And a lot of folks are being told there's no telling when the power will come back. Mark, thanks very much. A looming disaster of another kind has Wall Street worried. It's the deep federal budget cuts and tax increases that will kick in on January 1st unless Congress and the president reach a deal on cutting the deficit. The Dow lost 121 points today. That brings the 2-day loss to 434 points. This so-called fiscal cliff that hits in 7 weeks was designed to be so painful that Democrats and Republicans would have to compromise. But will they? Nancy Cordes is at the White House for us tonight. Nancy?
Scott, White House officials told me today they were encouraged by House Speaker John Boehner's comments yesterday about finding common ground. Still, they reiterate today that any deal is going to have to involve allowing those Bush tax cuts to expire for household income over $250,000 a year. And that's something Republicans adamantly oppose. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office put out a report today that said allowing those tax cuts to expire just for top earners would constrain economic growth next year by just 0.1%. The report also showed what's at stake here. If all the tax increases and spending cuts associated with the fiscal cliff are allowed to kick in, the unemployment rate will shoot up to 9.1% in 2013, from 7.9% now. That's why Vice President Biden predicted today the two sides will come up with a solution.
We're not going over the cliff. We're determined not to go over the cliff. I think better heads will prevail.
White House officials insist they have all the leverage here because all the Bush tax cuts are set to expire if Republicans don't compromise on taxes for the wealthy. That's an argument we'll likely hear the president make tomorrow when he gives his first address since being reelected. Scott?
Tomorrow afternoon. Nancy, thank you very much. The votes are still being counted from the presidential election. Let us show you where the popular vote stands tonight. Of about 120 million votes cast, the president is leading by less than 3 million votes. But of course, President Obama has already won the electoral vote, so nothing will change the outcome now. China is also changing leadership this month. Today, China's Communist Party began a meeting that is held once every 10 years, during which the people will be told who their new leaders are. That leadership has to manage a China that is evolving into a nation of haves and have-nots. And Bill Whitaker is reporting tonight from Beijing.
The opening of the Congress, a choreographed spectacle of power and pride. But outgoing President Hu Jintao told the assembled delegates the Communist Party's greatest success, China's economic development, has created one of its greatest threats, a growing divide between rich and poor. Yes. On one side of the divide, Huang Nubo, a 56-year-old billionaire real estate developer.
These buildings, these are your buildings too?
Yes.
He was poor as a boy, he told us, but he's rich and powerful now, on Forbes' list of the world's wealthiest people. He started with one piece of property 10 years ago. Now his company owns apartments, malls, and resorts around the world. He was lucky, he said, to get aboard China's exploding economic expansion. China's cities are booming, but prosperity didn't reach many rural areas, and now the economy is slowing.
If you could come up with one word to describe your life in this village, what would it be?
Hard, says farmer Jin Dengshan. He, his wife, and 3 young children live in rural Henan province. On less than $800 a year, they earn selling mushrooms. They are some of the 128 million Chinese who subsist on less than $1.25 a day. I resent rich people, he said. It's so unfair. His neighbor, Jin Xinzhen, says he's too poor to get married. We are like 1,000 miles away from the rich. We couldn't catch up if we had a rocket, he said. When they instituted capitalist reforms, China's leaders said to get rich is glorious. Today, Hu Jintao warned of social unrest if new leaders fail to narrow the income gap. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Beijing.
The U.S. Navy SEALs are part of an elite force that operates in the shadows, best known for killing Osama bin Laden. But our Pentagon correspondent David Martin has learned that a group of SEALs is being disciplined for revealing secrets.
The 7 members of SEAL Team 6 are all still on active duty. One of them was on the raid which killed Osama bin Laden and made SEAL Team 6 a household name. For 2 days this spring and summer, they worked as paid consultants on this recently released video game, Medal of Honor Warfighter. 4 other members of the team who have since transferred out of the unit but are still on active duty are under investigation.
Ask the men who hide in Pakistani compounds. They'll tell you.
The game does not recreate the bin Laden raid, but it does portray realistic missions such as an attack on a pirate's den in Somalia. It was produced by Electronic Arts, which boasts that real commandos, both active duty and retired, help make its games as realistic as possible.
Operators can jump at altitudes up to 30,000 feet.
It is unclear what secrets members of SEAL Team 6 gave away, but while serving as consultants for the game, they used classified material which had been given to them by the Navy. They also violated the unwritten code that SEALs are silent warriors who shun the spotlight. In fact, the SEALs have been buried in an avalanche of publicity, some of it approved by Admiral William McRaven, the commander of the bin Laden raid, and now the head of the Special Operations Command. For instance, the movie Act of Valor.
Yes, there are SEALs, that I think 8 of them, active duty Navy SEALs, that one of them may be out now, that participated in this. Again, it started off as a recruiting film.
SEAL Team 6 will be featured in 2 upcoming movies, one about the rescue of the captain of a container ship kidnapped by Somali pirates, the other about the bin Laden raid. The SEALs have gone Hollywood, but it could cost those who worked on the video game their careers. The 7 who have been punished so far all receive letters of reprimand which would kill their chances for promotion. They also had half their pay taken away for 2 months.
David Martin breaking this story at the Pentagon tonight. David, thank you very much. The Pentagon confirmed today that an American drone was attacked by Iranian military jets, apparently the first time that's ever happened. It was a week ago. The drone was conducting surveillance over the Persian Gulf, the U.S. says in international airspace. The Pentagon says the Iranians fired at least twice but missed. The U.S. protested to the Iranians and let them know that the drone will continue to fly. A U.S. soldier stands accused of mass murder in Afghanistan. Now survivors tell us what they saw. The Pakistani schoolgirl shot for standing up to the Taliban is recovering. And motorbike bandits hit the mall when the CBS Evening News continues. At a military court hearing in Washington state today, an Army DNA expert testified that Staff Sergeant Robert Bales had the blood of at least 4 people on his clothes and his guns when he surrendered. Bales is accused of murdering 16 Afghan civilians, mostly women and children. Tomorrow, survivors will testify over a video link from Afghanistan. Kelly Kobiea reports from Afghanistan tonight that their stories have not been widely reported until now.
At night, Rafiullah told us the nightmares return. I see everything clearly, he said, over and over. The 15-year-old is one of the few eyewitnesses to survive the massacre. We sent an Afghan journalist working for CBS News to meet with him and 2 other villagers in Kandahar City. It was too dangerous for Westerners to travel to their village, deep in Taliban territory. Rafiullah told us he was at home asleep on March 11th when a man broke down the door. He pushed me against the wall and put the pistol to my sister's head, he said. We all started shouting, "Don't kill her." When the shooting started, Rafiullah ran to another room. We heard gunshots. My uncle, my little cousin, and my grandmother were killed. I was told to put my hands on the wall, and then he shot my sister in the head. Rafiullah was wounded in both thighs. He told us the shooting lasted a half an hour. When we asked how many gunmen he had seen that night, Rafiullah answered, 1. He wore an American uniform, he said. He had a gun, but no helmet. He shot us with a pistol. Of the 16 Afghans killed in the village that night, 9 were children. Many of the bodies were burned. Another villager who lost 2 family members tells the story differently. Narbayan wasn't an eyewitness, but he told us his brother's wife had seen more than 1 gunman. She told me they had lights on their heads, he said. They were searching the house, and they told her to be quiet or they'd kill her too.
Kelly Kobiea is joining us at our CBS News Bureau in Kabul, Afghanistan. And Kelly, what do we make of these various accounts that indicate there was either 1 gunman or more than 1?
Well, the prosecution's argument is that this was an act committed by 1 man, Staff Sergeant Bales. But some of these witnesses have said from the very beginning that they saw more than 1 American soldier. And the defense will try to take advantage of this to try to save Bales from the death penalty. And you'll start to see hints of that when some of these Afghan witnesses begin testifying tomorrow.
Kelly, thanks very much. Barack Obama is about to go someplace no president has ever gone. That's next. President Obama will visit Burma this month, the first for an American president. Burma in Southeast Asia has been ruled by a military dictatorship for 50 years, but recently it's taken steps toward democracy, and the president's trip is a reward for that. The Pakistani schoolgirl who stood up to the Taliban is making a recovery in a British hospital. These are new pictures of 15-year-old Malala Yousafzai reading some of the get well cards that have poured in. Malala was shot in the head last month after speaking out for girls' education. Her father said she will not be silenced. Also in Britain, a daring drive-through robbery. Surveillance video caught these thieves on motorbikes racing through a mall, waving weapons and scaring shoppers. Stopping at a jewelry store, they grabbed watches and gems. The heist lasted only 2 minutes, but the robbers got away with merchandise valued at $3 million. We'll be back in just a moment. Tens of thousands of houses were damaged or destroyed in Hurricane Sandy. But today, Seth Doan talked to folks on Staten Island as they searched for priceless memories that made those houses homes.
John Reinhold shoveled his front walkway just like he does after every snowstorm, except he's no longer living in his home.
What did you lose here?
Everything on the first floor, living room, dining room, entire basement.
All flooded?
All flooded.
He has no electricity, no hot water, and even had to borrow his neighbor's shovel.
A little break, a little normal.
Piece of normal, just something like shoveling?
Right, it's just, it feels good.
Just before a blanket of snow covered up Sandy's mess, we found Eric Scanlon standing on what used to be his house.
You're here picking up, you're looking through things. How do you begin? Where do you start?
Well, I made a list of, categories most important.
What's most important?
Most important were some of the items that were given to me by my father.
This designer with a master's in city planning zeroed in on a piece of plastic sheeting that was buried.
This tarp, I mean, it's a mass-produced item. I could probably pick up 20 of them right now if I went to Home Depot, but that was my father's tarp, so that's important.
This was the cookie press that I made the cookies at Christmas time.
Wait, you saved a cookie press? Why a cookie press?
Because he loved cookies.
Your husband did?
Yes, he did. He loved these special cookies that I made for him.
Most of Teresa Breen's belongings are on the street. This grandmother of 4 says she's put her faith in God and will just start over.
A whole lifetime of memories kind of gets pushed down into a little bag.
Yeah, but that's okay. I've got something.
In the wake of such a disaster, people we met are focused on the little things. They say thinking about anything bigger is just too much to bear.
Grab this.
Seth Doan, CBS News, Staten Island.
And that's the CBS Evening News for tonight. For all of us at CBS News, all around the world, good night.